Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to another special edition of the Shenko and Spence Show, brought to you by your favorite people, Shenko and Spence, and we're going to be talking about today the Knicks and the Sixers, and we got a very special friend of mine joining the debate desk is Tyler Scott, and I got him on our famous and new thing we're doing, Google Hangouts, and I'm going to invite him in right now. How are we doing today, T. Scott?
I'm doing well, Shenko and Spence. I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here.
I'm
Yeah,
very.
T. Scott, it's great having you in, man.
Thank you,
we're all
thank you.
we're all we're all broadcast from different parts of the world, but we're just eager to get to our first debate. We're gonna start off with our New York Knicks. I mean, I had to invite my boy Tyler Scott on here. He's also a big Knicks fan. Knicks have been doing very well this year. I mean, they're 6-6. Everybody, even the greats of the world, Stephen A. Smith, one of the great journalists of the world, he said, "Oh well." Kristaps Porzingis, that's a failure for us. That's not a Karl Anthony Towns, a Jahlil Okafor, a big splash in the draft. But we got this Latvian guy, he's a 7'2" guy. Everybody was writing him off, thinking, no, he's going to be
Bargnani.
another Bargnani or another bust in the world. But
Great
I just
movie.
and he's been playing really well this year so far. He's really been putting up these great numbers. He's putting up rookie numbers. He's got 12.8 rebounds, averaging 8.6 rebounds as well. I mean, as I watch a lot of these games, you really just see nobody's boxing out Kristaps, and that's why he's really getting a lot of the big open lanes to get to the basket. And just a shout out, I was at a Knicks game last Friday when they played the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it was really see the Garden actually really fired up again. Since the past years we've been pretty bad, 17-win season, worst in franchise history. It's good to be on the winning track again, and I just want to bring in our special guest, and I want to see what he has to say. Starting off this year, how the Knicks have been doing so far. Just want to get your take on it, Tyler Scott.
I am very pleased and excited. I mean, I haven't been this excited about the Knicks since, I want to say, 2012, 2013, that season. They were very successful that season. But, yeah, I mean, I was one of the doubters, too, in terms of Kristaps. A lot of people were. I mean, we weren't prepared for that. We wanted Karl Anthony Towns, like you said, D'Angelo Russell, and anybody besides this guy. And I feel like once we picked him up, we were just, us as Knicks fans, we were just very, very disappointed. A lot of people were just saying, what the heck is not Stephen A. Smith, but what the heck is Phil Jackson doing? What's his plan? But, I mean, Kristaps, he's silenced. He has been silencing all the doubters. The dude's, like you said, 7-1. He's putting up 12.8 points per game. He's getting boards. He's on the highlights. I just see all these highlights. He's coming in the middle of the lane, dunking over everybody. And it's just amazing to have someone with that energy, someone to bring that energy back to New York. So it's, he'll help out Carmelo, and Carmelo's very pleased, about him and his talent. People are comparing him to Dirk Nowitzki, and Dirk the other day said, yeah, I mean, this guy, he's real, he's legit. So I mean, I'm very excited.
Yeah, when I look at Kristaps, I mean, I wasn't, a huge believer. I thought that they should have went like Emmanuel Mudiay, another point guard that they can bring in along Carmelo Anthony. And I've just been really impressed because I think even Melo said at the beginning of the season, like, is this guy really even going to start on this team? And in the summer league, Kristaps Porzingis was only playing about like 12 minutes, 14 minutes a game. But it's very nice to just see a Derek Fisher unleash this guy, let him have a ton of minutes. And right now, he can hit the three ball, he can dunk on people, but in terms of a mid-range game, I mean, that's what's going to take years, to continue to get better in that department is really his dribbling ability, backing down, taking fadeaways. He kind of is just benefiting off of offensive rebounds and and open three-pointers right now, but that in-between game should come in a couple of years too.
Definitely. He's
Yeah,
got a very bright future. I see a very bright future, with this kid in the Knicks organization. I mean, he's a special kid. I mean, Shenko knows. I called it with Odell Beckham, man. As soon as the Giants drafted him, I was just like, there's something about this kid. Like he's just,
No, it's the work ethic. I really think it is.
Yeah.
Like he answered in his interview during the summer. The one thing I'm looking forward about to going to America is that the gyms stay open all night.
That's exactly right, Spence. And I was reading another article too when I was going up on the megabus to the Knicks game last week, and they were saying like Chris Kristaps was angry that he was late to a game one time because of the New York traffic, because he's still getting used to the New York spotlight, and so he was just like trying to be able to adjust. He likes to be the first man in and the last one out, and that's the type of guy you need to be in
build
this
a culture around.
You got to build a culture around and be able to work around these guys who can actually help out a lot of these new guys too. Be able to build this new chemistry that the Knicks have, especially with new guys that we got rid of and we got, which is Jerian Grant and Derek Williams and some really good key guys to really set the tone and really keep it going for this season. And I just want to get your take, Spence, on what do you think where do you see this team going in the next next couple game or this coming season, and where you think the plan where do you think is the plan you think for the Knicks for the next couple of years? Because I know you went off on the Sixers, so I want to get your debate on what do you think the Knicks would be doing next year, couple years.
They're definitely in a different predicament than the Sixers because they do have Carmelo Anthony. They do have guys like Calderon that have been around the block with the Raptors, and he's a veteran-style point guard. I do see this Knicks team competing for a 7th or 8th seed this year, and that's what's going to be difficult about this season is, they still have Carmelo, and it's really about Carmelo Anthony kind of being content to maybe finish in a 7th or 8th seed, and it just comes down to the fact the Knicks do have options. If they trade Carmelo and just go this young route of Derek Williams and Porzingis and Grant, they could do that, or they could try to compete for a playoff spot this year and maybe take Cleveland or Atlanta to 6 games and get some experience either way. So it really comes down to what they want to do with Carmelo Anthony. But the good news is that this team is nowhere near the bottom of the Eastern Conference, especially with Porzingis playing very well and Calderon. I think they can honestly make the playoffs and maybe take an Atlanta Hawks team or Wizards team to 6 games and get some valuable experience.
And I'm really excited for this Knicks team as well. I mean, comparing the Sixers, which we will discuss later, and I will go off on your rant about the Sixers. But I wanted to say that the Knicks are they're a more formidable franchise, even in my opinion, just to go off of because they like to build a winning culture. They want to build the team chemistry right now and be able to do that. Getting to the 7th and 8th seed, yeah, but you're not going to be able to make a title run, but you're going to be able to build through either through free agency and key guys how to work this new system, because a lot of these new guys are stepping into the triangle offense, and it's really important that maybe next year we can possibly get a Kevin Durant, be able to lure in free agency, because honestly, in my opinion, who would want to go to a losing team as to the Sixers? Because I don't understand what they're
LA.
doing. Like LA or something, but you just can't. I don't understand why. Well, I'm not going into my
the thing about Durant is that you do have Melo's contract still, so that might be very hard to negotiate a guy like Durant coming.
Yeah, I understand, but look at this is another example. Look at Cleveland. They're signing all these guys. If Cleveland, a small market like Cleveland, Ohio, can do it, the New York can do it. New York can do it. Chicago can do it. LA can do it. Why not New York? It doesn't.
The money's definitely there. I just feel as if we need more, role players to step in. I mean, we have these guys like Aaron Flalo. We have Derek Williams, Jose Calderon, but that's just not going to get the job done in terms of where the Knicks want to be, what they want. Their goal is to get a title.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Spencer said, I can definitely see us, battling for 7, 8 seed. I mean, right now we got Boston, number 7, and Detroit number 8. I can definitely see us by the end of the season, battling for a playoff spot. But long term, I feel like I mean, Carmelo, he's a valuable asset. Porzingis is as well. We just need some, really, good role players. We need those role players that Cleveland has, that, Miami had when it was LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. We need those type of role players. And I can, say within maybe 4 years, if we do get those role players, I can see us, potentially, contending for, conference finals, if anything.
Yeah. The route has to be different than like the 76ers and tanking, or like Golden State's route in Oklahoma City's. They went through the draft, drafting guys like Westbrook and Durant and just hitting year after year and kind of going through some really rough seasons. And that's what the Sixers are trying to do. With Melo still in the loop in New York, the best chance the Knicks have at winning a title is the Boston Celtics of '08, where they bring in guys like Ray Allen and KG and kind of have a triple threat there, and they keep Melo, and an aging Melo as a veteran gets 2 pieces, and they make their run kind of as LeBron is heading out. So the point is that they can't just – I agree that with Melo, you can't just rebuild and stack for the future, and you got to try to avoid becoming the New Jersey Nets, because the Nets signed Joe Johnson. They overpaid for guys like Darren Williams, and they couldn't get over the hump. And then eventually all these older guys retire, and they're back at square one, and they're just a dumpster fire now. So that's what it comes down to, is you got to sign the right guys. You got to bring in elite talent. You don't want to overpay for the Aflalos of the world going forward.
Exactly. I totally agree. And I'm just looking here, like at the free agent class, who would be able to opt out, with team option, player option, like. Going down the list, I see like a selected few that would really fit our system. Like Kevin Durant is one. Then you have like Dwayne Wade, but he's injury prone. Roy Hibbert is average. And then you have Al Horford. Who knows if he's going to sign again?
He's a pretty good player.
Mike Conley's okay. Rajon Rondo's okay. Another guy we would really like to lure in free agency. Another guy I see is Bradley Beal. He's a young coming talent coming out of Washington. I would really see him. Maybe dump a Flower. Maybe he would take a pay cut. Maybe he would go on the bench. But, I really like Bradley Beal and what he brings to the table. He's a young guy. He's 22 years old, like me. And you can be able to, bring that winning spirit back, because Washington's really doing well, and they have a really good winning spirit there, too. You'll be able to bring that to New York. But, I just hope to see some strides in what we're trying to do, and, hopefully be able to, just build on it day by day. You just need those guys who just, they want to fight tooth and nail and inch every single day. They want to be there. They want to learn. They have a quick learning curve. And if you got guys like that, building through free agency or, the draft, then the sky's the limit for the New York Knicks. And, if they can handle, another thing is important, be able to handle the New York spotlight, because there's a lot of players in the past that could not handle the New York spotlight. So you definitely need guys like that. And like what we were talking about, Kristaps really fills that role. Carmelo Anthony fills that role. And a lot of these other guys are, we're just waiting to see what happens. It's still early, so I'm really seeing some good things coming out. So we just got to hope for the best going forward.
I look at Al Horford. He could be a really useful player that you can plug into that system. And then Rondo, I don't know. His personality, he has sunk some teams. Like, he kind of had a disastrous turn with Dallas. And
Yeah,
Oh
I
he
just,
really
man.
did.
I'm
But
just
I
kind of
agree.
iffy on
I
Rondo. It's such a risk to bring him in, but he is an elite level guard that does have
Dude,
championship
he's putting up like
experience.
these triple doubles like crazy this year with
I
Sacramento.
agree. I mean, I've always looked at Rondo, and I
Just the
was always
chemistry is the
wondering,
question.
like, what would happen if we had that type of player with that caliber on our team? Because honestly, what Spencer was saying earlier, like, we need that triple threat. I feel like that's the only way we can, move towards conference final. I feel like we just either need either a power forward, center, because Robin Lopez, I mean, let's be honest, he wasn't our first option. We
Not a fan
wanted
at all.
we wanted somebody like
I don't think
Greg
he is.
Monroe. We wanted a Marcus Gasol.
Not
Um,
even
but I mean, honestly, I would love to see Rondo or somebody with his assets on our team that can, just,
Ooh.
feed the ball to like Melo or like the rest of the players. Isn't really, worried about him getting his points. We just need someone. We need a floor general, and we had that with, Jason Kidd when he was playing. Jason Kidd was, he was, up there in age, but he was, pretty much in a sense,
He's a great
the
mentor of
one.
the game.
Yeah,
I
he was
totally
the
agree.
great mentor. He was passing the ball to Melo, everybody, and he wasn't worried about getting his points. He was there to help the other players on the team, and help them with their work ethic and get to where they are now. So
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think this is going to be a positive thing for our Knicks, and we just hope for the best. But now we're going to get to our favorite topic of the day, and obviously I'm going to go on a little rant because as I promised. So we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. So the Philadelphia 76ers, they've won how many games the past couple years? They've probably tanked since the Michael Carter Williams days when they had Iguodala and guys like role players really trying to step in. I'm drawing a blank. They had Iguodala. They had
Iguodala, Lou Williams, Drew Holiday, they had so many good players.
and the thing is, a lot of those guys, like when Spencer's good buddies Perry List would say, I understand that. I was debating with him one time, and I was telling him that, like, why would you get rid of Drew Holiday and some key talent like that? But I understand where he came from because he was saying that you can't just you can't just build with these teams and make it to the 7th and 8th seed and just get outs against players like in the 7th or 8th seed because they got extremely lucky in 2012 because like what Spencer was saying in his other video, he was talking about how Derrick Rose was hurt. In spite of that, they definitely would have lost that series if Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah was both healthy. They just got lucky and they just played the Celtics in the second round, which they almost made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I was there for Game 6 when they played the Celtics, and AI came back. It was really good environment to be in. But
yeah.
in spite of all that, but ever since then, there's a lot of criticism with definitely what Mr.
Sam
Hinkie has done with Sam Hinkie has done with this organization, and it's one of the as a Knicks fan, like it's like what I mean, I kind of like it, but then I kind of don't because obviously you're gonna get guys like Joel Embiid, and like guys like Noel and Okafor. Like I get that, but it comes to a point in time. Maybe you'll get Ben Simmons next year, but then like once their contracts are up, how are you going to be able to keep these players who are going to ask for these max dollars, and then all of a sudden you can't you can't build a team anymore because they're going to want to leave Philadelphia. They're going to want to go to a team that has probably a better supporting cast than the Sixers have because the Sixers right now they don't even have a supporting cast because they keep losing every game. It's like how are you supposed to build off of losing every single year? And you can't just like in a game, you can't just turn a click and it's gonna start working. But I just don't understand your take on your video when you're talking about be able to get a Ben Simmons or I mean, obviously, I just don't understand why you would like.
So
yeah, I
you're
just don't
kind of
get it.
you're kind of like doubting the process that I have. Is that correct?
I mean, I like it. It's good in theory, but like it's like I just don't
I
see it
think
realistically working out long term. How are you going to be able to keep all these guys and keep them
I
all
think it's
happy
the
because they're all big name guys? They want all this money, so how are you going to be able to keep it in a small market like Philadelphia?
yeah. I think it's the only route that you necessarily have at this point. Because you look at Golden State, right? They drafted Steph Curry at like the 7th spot. Then Klay Thompson came into play, and
Hmm.
then they were able to get role players like David Lee and Livingston, and kind of gel them together to become Golden State. And guess what? Those
Right.
players, now that they're winning, they're not leaving. Like
I understand. So you're
Draymond
gonna
Green is not leaving either, and Golden State is not a. I don't think it's a big market like Los
yeah,
Angeles is,
but
for example.
you're comparing it to guys like who's going to lead your team right now, like your role players. You're going to have Hollis Thompson, Isaiah Cannon, and Robert Covington be your backbone on your bench. Like,
Yeah,
no, I
these
totally
guys are
disagree with
not
that.
these guys are not there. But like Ben Simmons next year is going to be your #1 overall pick. Then you
Yeah,
could get a guy like Jamal Murray from Kentucky, and then Dario Saric can come over. You
if you
literally are getting 3 guys next year.
Mhm.
You're getting 3 guys in your starting lineup next year that could become very high caliber NBA type talent. And then what I was going to say is that the guys on the bench this year for the 76ers, they won't be around much longer. And you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, right? They got Antetokounmpo. They got the Greek Freak. Then they traded for Carter Williams. And now, look, they're top five. And then they signed Monroe. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to build through the draft and expect this Sixers team next year with a Ben Simmons and Jahlil Okafor to compete for a playoff spot. I think it's the only option because, like you were mentioning earlier, with Drew Holiday and Evan Turner, that team had a ceiling. That team had a ceiling of losing in the first round, and now they're just like. And now look at the Brooklyn Nets. When Joe Johnson and Darren Williams leave, it's all over. So I think it was smart to just scrap and do it all over again.
Tyler, your thoughts?
um. Well, honestly, I mean, I see where both of you guys are coming from, both of your viewpoints. Um, I mean, how I feel, I mean, because I used to be a Sixers fan, and then I was just like, this isn't working for me. So, I hopped on the Knicks, which isn't really that much better. But, I mean, honestly, I mean, like, I just don't understand. I mean, I understand the plan, but it's all in theory, and for me, that's all like it seems. That's all that it seems to be. It's just all in theory. I mean, like, yeah, you guys have a lot of young guys, but if you guys are just gonna scrap year after year, all your players, your roster, where's the chemistry gonna come into play? You got all these young players, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. They're young. I mean, Golden State's also very young, but they've added older players. Such as like I think Sean Livingston.
Iguodala.
Iguodala. He's up there in
Bogut,
age.
Andrew
Bogut.
Bogut.
So honestly, I feel like yeah, you guys have these young players, but I feel like what the Sixers need to do is, yeah, I mean, if you believe in the process of tanking, continue what you guys are doing. If that's what you truly believe is going to work for you guys. But I also believe that you guys need to bring in some, you know, players that have been in this league, have had playoff experience that can mentor these young guys because let's be real, these young guys they're coming out of college early and they're not staying in college for the 4 years playing with their team. They're coming in 19, 20. They think they
Yeah.
know everything about basketball, but they really don't. They haven't played
Yes.
against the pros. The pros are different from college, obviously. I just feel like the Sixers, what they need to do is, continue to build through the draft if that's what you really think is best for you guys. Bring in some players that have had that experience and just see where it goes from there. I mean, I can't really say much.
Yeah.
And you guys got to win some games. You guys got to win some games too. I mean, I understand you guys want to, tank and get these good players, but at the same time, like, if you're losing all these games, the players on your roster, they're not going to want to be there. Look at Jaleel Okafor. He won the championship. He's on the Sixers team. Just imagine how he feels. Coming from a high caliber collegiate team, and then you're placed in Philly, and it's just downhill from there. And he's not going to have any motivation to work harder. He's going to want to get out there as quick as possible. You got injury prone guys like Joel Embiid, and then you have these average, I guess you can call them average point guards. I mean, you guys just, in my opinion, just need some veteran players, players that have had that experience in the playoffs that can mentor these young guys if you're going to build through the draft and try to be like an OKC team, or not an OKC team or a Golden State team. So.
Right. I mean, you definitely make great points, like, about bringing in mentors, like a Jermaine O'Neal was a mentor, and then in Cleveland for a lot of years, they had, like, Ilgauskas would come back, Mike Miller would teach these guys how to be professionals. I agree 1,000% that Sam Hinkie in this culture right now, it couldn't be any worse. It's so embarrassing because you're right, Tyler, like, on the bottom line of ESPN, you see, like, Sixers break record for losing, like, 25 out of the gate. That's pretty much the Sixers are a complete joke. But next year is the year where even the Hinkie supporters will tell you that we're literally getting a new band of players next year. Like 6 guys should be coming in. Eric Bledsoe is very affordable. He can lead the team. And it's really unfortunate because we could have had Andrew Wiggins if the ping pong balls just didn't bounce so lucky to freaking Dan Gilbert's kid. It's always Dan Gilbert's son in Cleveland wearing those glasses, and they've gotten the first pick.
Like, I mean, when you put it that way, I mean, the Knicks, we could have had a player like Steph Curry, and the list goes on and on. So I mean,
exactly.
No, but if the Sixers had Andrew Wiggins, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now, and it's very unfortunate what happened to Joel Embiid.
And I'm gonna go. And every time, I'm gonna go on to a next question. I mean, I always make fun of the Knicks, the Sixers, of how they trade all their players away. But you know what? I think at this stage of the game, you have a injury-prone Joel Embiid, which could have been, Andrew Wiggins. But unfortunately, we're gonna have this discussion because, I feel like this Joel Embiid kid, he does not know how to handle the media. He thinks he's this like pop star. He's taking pictures. He's bowling. He thinks
he's
like
obsessed with Rihanna. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's like all obsessed with Hollywood and stuff. And like really, you should like honestly, like, I'm a hypocrite because I'm gonna say the Sixers should just trade away Embiid to possibly get a possible.
Well, honestly, I feel like this
coming, but I was gonna see what you guys think on that because I think Joel Embiid needs to go somewhere else to be able to maybe to build, get some more guards. Be able to help out with your team because you guys are so filled in the front court with the Noel, Okafor, and Embiid. There's no spot for Embiid on this team. You're not gonna put him at the 3. So honestly, what do you guys think that they should do with Embiid and who they should target maybe for a trade bait to possibly be able to build this roster to be more formidable to lure free agents as well?
Sure.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, so the Sixers, if they happen to get like the first or second pick in the draft, then they have that trade bait. Also, the Lakers, if they continue, their pick is outside of the top 3, then the Sixers are going to have like maybe, let's just say, 2 and 5. Teams will definitely be interested in having 2 picks inside of the top 5. And then you could maybe look for, like a guy like DeAndre or Blake, to possibly you could package those picks together. So next year it's just so important to hit on draft picks to really get lucky. And the Minnesota, and their scouting were so poor when they drafted Johnny Flynn and Michael Beasley, and that franchise is just horrendous still to this day. Well, I know that Andrew Wiggins is there, but it is built for the draft. But I mean, you gotta hit on some guys next year, and then with Embiid, like you were saying, you know, there's been reports that he hasn't even taken his rehab that seriously. It's going to be very hard to trade him.
I know. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't
Nerlens
think
Noel
they can
is
trade
the
him.
dude you got to trade because Embiid is stuck. Embiid is here.
Embiid, I
Trading
believe
that
it.
guy.
I believe ever since the Sixers picked him up in the draft, it's just been, I mean,
Comedy
he's
act.
so it's a comedy act. That's exactly what it is. He's tweeting at Rihanna. He's saying, "Oh, well, I can take you, LeBron, game 7 or whatever." I forget what it was,
Yeah.
but
That's right. He
and,
did
and,
say
and it's just like this. It's like I hate to say it, but it's like you're a rookie and you're on the bench because you're injured. Shut your mouth. Just sit there, observe the game, take your
Yeah.
rehab seriously. Don't say anything because honestly, he is stuck, and it sucks because the Sixers. Honestly, I don't think anybody wants Embiid. He's a joke. He's an act. He reminds me of Greg Oden in a sense. I mean, the kid's, he's a rookie. He didn't even play a single game last season. It's ridiculous. And unfortunately, I feel like if anything, the Sixers would have to give away, Nerlens Noel or Jahlil Okafor. I mean, like, it sucks to say because those players are very talented. But I mean, in the Sixers, case, they're stuck with Joel Embiid for right now. I mean, until he gets healthy and gets his act together and steps on that court and shows, everybody what he's made of, nobody's going to want him.
I don't think he's ever going to pan out either and be like even a decent NBA player. I just can't see Embiid in an 82-game season playing even 25 games. And it's unfortunate, and you're right, like Greg Oden, unlike Embiid, Greg Oden was pretty reserved about his social media and about his persona, and he wasn't goofing around like Embiid. So
yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you guys. You guys both make some great points, and I really enjoy, being able to talk Knicks Sixers with my good friends Spencer and T. Scott. Well, that's going to wrap it up today, folks. And this is the Shenk and Spence Show, brought to you by your best host, Shenk and Spence. And we'll see you guys next time, talking our Giants. All right, take care, guys.
Take care, guys.
You.
Yeah,
have a good one, guys.